Please only use the stairs, do not use the lift. The fire assembly point is in the staff car park at the rear of the Dean House. You should not return to the building for any reason until you've been advised it is safe to do so. For members of the public wishing to use these toilets, these can be found off the landing immediately outside the committee room. Can I remind everyone to please put your mobile phone on silent mode and keep the phone away from the microphones to minimise interference. Can I request that anyone who's brought a cup or glass into the committee room, please can you return it to the kitchen area after the meeting has finished? Thank you. I've just silenced my phone, that's fine. Thank you. Do we have any members of the public attending the meeting this evening? No, not expecting anybody. Perfect. Are there any apologies? So we've got apologies from Councillor Ray Tully, who would normally be chairing this meeting. Anything else? No, everyone see it. Are there any declarations of interest that might affect this meeting? No, no declarations of interest. Thank you. Item 3, onto the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes of the last meeting? I was unable to attend that meeting, so I would just like to take advice from everyone else. Do you feel that it is a fair and accurate record of the proceedings?
Yes, I think I. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think I had raised it before about how I made an amendment to the sorry.
It's been a long day, don't worry.
Yeah. The compassionate leave policy about including grandparents in there. I think it was said that, you know, it was basically considered as part of the policy. I just want to confirm that that's okay.
Yes, no, it was already amended on the policy before it was put onto the website.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Smith.
Thank you. And it was just around the inclusivity of language, wasn't it? I think we discussed, but I think you were going to do that during the so just to note that.
That all been?
Yes, it's all done. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I would like to propose those as a to accept the minutes. So Councillor Smith Roberts proposed and Councillor Furman second. All in favour? Fabulous. Item 4, access to information. So this is a motion to exclude the press and the public. Do we need to read out the statement? During the discussion of the following item, agenda items 8 and 9, it may be necessary to pass the following resolution to exclude the press and public, having reflected on the presumption in favour of openness. This decision may be required because consideration of this matter in public may disclose information falling within one of the descriptions of exempt information in Schedule 12A to the Local Government Act 1972. Council will need to decide whether, in all the circumstances of the case, the public interest in maintaining the exemption outweighs the public interest in disclosing the information. It's recommended that under section 100A (4) of the Local Government Act 1972, that the public be excluded from the items of business, agenda items 8 and 9, on the grounds that it involves the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in paragraph 3, respectively of part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Act, namely information relating to the financial or business affairs of any particular person, including authority holding the information.
The second and
Proposals. Who would like to, again, Councillor Smith Roberts proposed, Councillor Furman to second that motion. All in favour? That's unanimous, thank you. So moving on to item 5, that's the appeals notification policy and procedure. Has everyone had a chance to look at that policy?
Yes.
Have you got any comments? Councillor Furman?
Yes.
You need to use your microphone? Yeah.
Okay. So as part of the appeals process, when there's been conflicting evidence being presented towards the panel, one of the points within the policy says that we can take, the panel would need to decide between, which truth they decide to accept. Does that mean we would need to accept, the views of one side wholesale, or could we pick and choose between each sides based on the veracity of how we feel the evidence is, presented, or how we see it?
What point is it that you're referring to? 12, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, so if there's no clear view about the facts presented by both parties, they are disputed, the member appeal panel should decide on the balance of probabilities what version of the facts they accept.
So is that a case that, if one side, if we sort of believe more of one side, we have to accept all their facts, or can we pick and choose between which individual facts we decide are the best, most true?
Yes.
Marcus?
So to interject, just from studying the law, of course, part of balance probability is 51%, I believe, usually, rather than the stricter test, which is the beyond reasonable doubt test. So I think it would be one side that you would have on a balance of probability, sort of the 51% test that you would conceal. I think that would be my interpretation.
So it'd be the case that if we believed more, the greater amount of evidence between one side, we'd basically be saying, okay, the facts of that side is the facts of the whole case.
I'll hand over to Councillor Smith-Roberts.
So my view on this is that in relation to us signing off on the policy, we are basically saying at point 12 about we are just choosing to decide as an organisation that we use balance of probabilities as our test. I would say, and I'm not, and maybe I need Marcus and Donna to help me with this, and maybe Ed, I don't think for me, you put all of the case together. There'll probably be facts within it that you highlight internally within balance of probability, but I don't think that you would ever be able to stipulate how you deal with each individual case within a policy, but we're giving the framework in order for that members panel to decide on it. So it's about saying that we believe in the balance of probabilities rather than outright. So but that's my understanding.
My experience of this in the past, and I've had to adjudicate in appeal panels in a previous role, is that you listen to the facts, and in most cases there is a factual basis that you're able to make a decision on. This point would be when there is no clear view of the fact, and it may be hearsay, he said, she said kind of situations, or where there is no factual evidence that definitely would lead you to make one decision. You have to choose what is the most likely, based on what would normally happen or your knowledge of the people involved, what is the most likely outcome, or what is the most likely the version of the truth, and that would be on a case by case basis.
I guess my concern is that although you can listen to someone and, as I say, there aren't any sort of concrete facts about it, but each person presents something that a part of their case is true and a part of the other person's case is true. Would you be flexible enough to say, okay, we accept your part of that case and we accept the other part of the other person's case as a basis of our facts within the panel?
I would agree with that. That's how it would work out.
Okay, I'm happy to go with that then.
Okay.
I have a separate question, and it always boils down to this, so I apologise. In the fact that, can you remind me, Donna, what happens if it's the clerk that wants to do an appeal? Because this is talking about if it's not the clerk in there, does it?
Yeah, so you would use the HR services.
Any further questions or comments on that policy? Do I have someone who'd like to propose accepting that? Councillor Smith-Roberts and Councillor Lees seconding that policy. Okay, all in favour of accepting the policy as it stands? That's unanimous, thank you. And on to the next item, which is item 6, the wellness and sickness absence policy and procedure. Has everyone had a chance to look at this? I navigate my system to find it.
I had a brief look at it. But I couldn't see anything in particular.
My question was, have we pulled this from other guidance around sickness policies? Does SOG provide guidance on this, or there's like a template for parish councils or small employers, just to make sure that we're working within employment legislation so that it's fair and reasonable? And then I think my other question was that if, and maybe it's getting maybe too far into the detail, but I would hope that we would allow people to work from home, say they have got a virus that can spread around the office. It would be preferable that we allow people to work from home rather than having them come in and take down the whole workforce, because not every business seems to have that approach. So I would hope that we did, in order to be supportive and think about the wider well-being of all staff.
Yeah, so in answer to the first question is, yes, there's numerous policies that we can use from SLCC, SALC, the HR companies as well. So it's pulled together from various streams, including other parish and town councils, ensuring within legislation and obviously what we can and can't do. In regards to the second point, we do have this flexible working arrangement. So the member of staff has got some issues, and yes, we do have her working on that as well.
Could I ask a question? In some cases it refers to calendar days, and in some cases it refers to consecutive days. Obviously, calendar days is quite straightforward. In 3.2.3, okay, a couple of places, but that's one of them. It talks about an absence of more than 7 consecutive days, and that paragraph does say whether or not these are working days. That would include 7 consecutive days, including weekends and bank holidays. So that would be the case wherever it says
Yes.
consecutive. Okay. And that would be the normal working days, regardless if they were part-time workers. Okay. Are there any other comments or questions on that policy? Would anyone like to propose accept adopting that policy? Councillor Berman, I do have a second to Councillor Lees, thank you. All in favour of adopting the policy? That's unanimous, so thank you very much. Making quick work here this evening. And on to item 7, which is the appraisal process.
Will you let me know when we need to go into?
So next I've decided.
Okay.
Yeah. So has everyone had a chance to have a look at this one? So yeah, Councillor Roberts.
Really comfortable with this. I think appraisals are always a good way. It's a two-way street in order to look at also how people can not just look back, but more about looking forward as to what it is that they want to achieve in the next 12 months. You can't change the past, you can only go on the future. There was an element for me around who does the clerk's appraisal, so that is part of what I just couldn't quickly find that. And then the other element was around just, I guess we've got all our other policies together, so we need to have these in line with it, or it works alongside this. That I always feel that appraisals, there should be nothing out of the blue that comes at them, because we should be developing people throughout the year, or if there are concerns, or also great feedback, don't leave it to like a one period date, because that's just when an appraisal is due.
Yeah, I can answer those. So in regards to the clerk's appraisals, it's under the terms of reference for the personnel committee to undertake that. And we have also got, in addition to the appraisal scheme, we've also got regular one-to-one meetings. So all managers have one-to-one meetings with all members of staff once a month. And I have meetings, one-to-ones with the management team once a month or once every 6 weeks.
The only other question that I've thought of in the interim, to come back in on, is whether we would be doing 360 feedback, or I don't know if that's the term we use in my workplace, but like gathering information not just from line management, but those around people, so that there's like a good view of how that person's doing.
Yeah, so again, we have a weekly management board meeting. So if there's anything that is, with staff to bring up, it's one of these things. And the one-to-ones are passed between the management schemes, so we've all got a good view of who's doing what.
Sorry, and on the one-to-one form, I believe there's a question about, is there any feedback with any other staff members that have in praise for other members of the team, or feedback on things like that? So, thank you.
I just wanted to know, I'm really glad you chose to have this policy on the anniversary of someone's employment rather than at a fixed time for everyone every year, because it spreads the workload so much better. So if you haven't done, I would have suggested it. So thank you for already having that in the policy. That's really good. Thank you. On that basis, I would like to propose that we adopt this policy. Would anyone second that proposal? Councillor Roberts, all in favour of adopting the present policy? Thank you, that's unanimous. And now we move on to item 8,